day and good evening. Welcome to Believers Talk. I am your host, Deidre Jordan. Thanks for joining in as we discuss another hot topic. All right. So on tonight, you guys, I got a good friend of mine, and we're going to be discussing basically COVID-19 restrictions. I know you guys are tired of hearing of COVID-19. I am too. Be glad when it disappears. But we're going to be talking about different restrictions, different things, and also PreNeeds with Dr. Jeremiah Martin. All right. So you guys put on your seatbelts. We're going to go for a ride. My thinking was when I put this show together, my thinking was to discuss what goes on in the funeral home, especially with COVID-19 hitting. And if there was some type of restriction, different things that kind of went on. And then definitely we need to talk about PreNeeds, because that's one thing that we definitely need to talk about, especially in the Black community, because when things happen, we're not always ready, right? So I'm going to bring my good friend on, Dr. Jeremiah Martin. Let me get him on here. What's up, my friend?
Hey, good evening to you. Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. Look, I feel a little underdressed. I told you that backstage. So, he's still at work there and looking all dapper and smooth and everything. But man, look, I'm glad. I know I've been talking to you a while. I think actually last year, I think I hit you up and told you I wanted to kind of do something pertaining to this particular subject. And I thank God that you accepted and that you were able to get in here, man. I know you're a busy man. I know you're busy. So without further ado, Dr. Martin, look, tell us about yourself and your ministry where you pastor, because not only do you do the work of, well, look, we'll talk about it, but just tell us right now what you do as far as ministry wise, and then where you pastor, and then we're gonna get into the other part here in just a moment. All right.
All right. So I am Dr. Jeremiah Martin. I am the senior pastor and founder of the Vineyard Church of Dallas, located here in Dallas, Texas. I've been pastoring this church for 18 years now. 18 years, been in ministry for about 26, 27 years now. So the Lord has been faithful and has blessed. I know you may say I don't look that old, but hey, it is what it is. So, but yeah, just love the Lord, love God's people, love pastoring the people of God, and I just want to be a voice in the kingdom in a time such as this.
Absolutely, man. Look, I know you've been in ministry for a long time. Matter of fact, now you're from Texarkana, right?
So I'm originally from Dallas, but I
Okay.
graduated high school from Texarkana. So normally where you graduate from, that's kind of where you from.
That's where yeah. Gotcha. All right, yeah, because I'm gonna say, man, look, I got family all in Arkansas. That's where we. Well, you probably either on Texas or Arkansas side. I'm not sure what side, but
I went to school on the Arkansas side, but we lived on the Texas side. So Texas High was our rival. I'm a Razorback all day long, big school, baby.
Yes, sir. You familiar with the small town, Nashville, Arkansas?
Absolutely.
You know where Nashville is?
Absolutely. The chicken
plant. Yeah, that's where my
Nashville.
family is, man.
Yeah. The chicken plant in Nashville. That's where all the money made.
Yes, sir. You got somebody shouting out to you there. The oversized Jeremiah J. Martin, DeShore Henderson.
Hey, what's going on, DeShore? That's one of my sons. God bless you, son. Good to see you tonight, man.
Praise God. So, man, look, you are also a young Black entrepreneur, man, and I definitely give you accolades in that arena. But you're a young Black entrepreneur as well. Please share with us your business type and where you are located.
So I am CEO. I work in the funeral industry at Prepared Place Funeral Home, and we're located at 4228 South Lancaster Road, Dallas, Texas, 75216. I've been doing funeral service for about 20 years now. About 20 years now. More like 18 years. Very passionate about the industry. And I saw your question says a young Black entrepreneur, and it is a very, very tough task to be young, black, male, in this day and time, trying to make moves on your own and all that good stuff. But the Lord has prospered us, and the Lord has most definitely kept us over this period of pandemic and all of that stuff. So basically, yeah, just the funeral industry. I love the funeral industry. You can't live without dying. And when
Come
people
on.
realize that, it will become more important to them. Watch this, spiritually or naturally, you can't live without dying. If you want to live in
Come
this
on.
world spiritually, you've got to die. The Bible says, so that this flesh will die daily, glory to God. So you can't live without dying on the natural or the spiritual side. You got to die. So and I tell my church all the time, they have to see me one way or the other. So you might as well come on and see me so you can enjoy me. Glory to God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll never forget. I remember when you definitely when you opened up there in Oak Cliff. I of course stopped by and came to see you. Told me to come by and visit, and I'm excited for you. A lot of people can't really. Let me put it to you this way: you have some people that are excited for you, but then you have some people that are actually genuinely, excited. Especially, and I was one of the ones. I was really excited that what God was doing through you, and definitely being able to. I know you've been in the business for a while. Matter of fact, before you opened up your establishment, my family, they definitely commented on. You remember you did my cousin Linda Rambo and everyone, especially my mom, them, and because they can be kind of particular, but they said you did an outstanding job with her body, and I mean you even kept her because she was a natural lady. You kept her natural. I mean it was beautiful. She was absolutely beautiful, and so definitely for sure you do the do, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I must honestly say, it's not me. It's all the master that we serve. He gives me the grace. This industry, it's art. So these
Yeah,
hands are anointed by God, and I just kind of do what He has me to do and try to make a time so detrimental in life and so low in life, make it the best that it possibly can.
absolutely.
Look
Look,
at Sean said he's ready to preach.
yes, sir, man.
You,
What is the most important thing that we should know about you as an individual?
um, man, one important thing that you should know about me, the most important thing that you should know about me as an individual, the most important thing. Man, that's um, in all honesty, the most important thing that I could say that one should know about me is that I am a servant at heart. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't care about titles. I don't care about, none of that stuff. I'm a servant at heart, and I believe that's what allows me to elevate in the business. That's what allows me to maneuver the way I do in the business. The Bible says, "Let the greatest among you first be a servant." And
Mhm.
I haven't mastered servitude yet, but I'm definitely striving to master servitude because I want to be great. And what better way to be great than to serve others? So that's probably one of the little known facts about me. You have to really know me to know that I'm a servant at heart, most definitely.
For sure, for sure. And you sang, you do all that, man. Look, I didn't know you very multi talented. And I even just hate to go back to her funeral, but even at her funeral, you sung even at her at her homegoing as well. And so, man, you wear many hats. You wear one thing I can say, you wear many hats, and that's a good thing. Sounds like myself, just wear all kind of hats and just wherever, and that's what a servant does. Someone that can just wherever you need me, look, just put me there. Let's go. Let's do it. You know and that means a whole lot. Absolutely. Um, what is something you wished you had learned early in life? Uh, Early in life, you would have applied much, and then you would have taken it and applied it much earlier.
Man, you're giving me a lot of these hard questions.
Look,
I don't know if you're talking on the natural, on the spiritual, somewhere in between. I don't know. Uh,
look, you're a preacher too, so we respect that, and therefore, if you can take it spiritual, you can take it natural, however you want to take it, man.
oh man, what was that question again?
All right, let me pop.
What is something you wish you had learned early in life you would have applied much earlier? Um,
Yeah.
one thing that I must say in life, and it's on a spiritual side, but it would have so much helped me further along in the process on the natural side if I had to learn early on to be who God anointed me to be.
Okay.
I oftentimes tell my church that I'd rather die going to hell trying to be who God anointed me to be than die going to hell trying to be who the church said I should or I ought to be.
Okay.
Um, so often we grow up in church searching for an identity, looking for who we supposed to be, trying to be like our favorite preacher or our favorite singer and all of that stuff. And sometimes and it's good to have role models and people that we look up to and people that we want to pattern ourselves after. But in the midst of that, I wish I had learned to really just be who God anointed me to be. I would be so much further along if I had just been myself.
Right. Right.
Yeah, just been myself, and that would be most definitely advice that I would give to those coming up in the ranks. Some of the older people, just be yourself.
Right. Right.
I have a small business. I can't compete with not even my competitors because I'm not in competition. I feel like funeral service is ministry to me. So ministry, I don't compete in ministry. My ministry is my ministry, and I give it the way God gives me to give it, and that's through servitude. But I would, that I can't even begin to compete with the other funeral homes. They've been around 30, 40 years more.
Right.
I'm only 4 years in the game, so there's no competition. So I just have to be me. I just have to do what I do. Maybe skipping ahead a little bit, but I'm the only funeral home here in Dallas that set you up in a chair. Like, you want to be posed? This is the
Right.
home
Right.
of the pose. We've done several pose services. Yeah, like whatever you want. I got a couple of pre-needs where preachers want to be in their pulpit with their robe on.
Yeah.
When they go. So I'm all for it, and I'm just doing me. I'm not trying to be anybody else. Not trying to do it like anybody else. But if I had to learn that early on, and not so late in the game, I probably would be so much further along. Just be you, be
Right.
be be you. And and
Right.
and when I say that, not in your sinful nature of who you are, but in that spiritual manner of who you are, I have to say that most
Right.
definitely.
Absolutely. So look, make sure we revisit the posing thing. And it's crazy. I'm surprised I didn't even put that in any of the questions, but make sure we revisit it because I know you got a lot of flack from that. And I remember
Yeah,
when I came to visit you, I was like, look, man, look, do you? Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody doing that around here. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And
right,
so, for sure, make sure we go back to revisit that.
absolutely.
All right, man. Look, what have you been up to since the start of the pandemic? I tell when I interview people, I always tell them, I say, God never gave us a playbook with this, and from a so I mean, even from the pastoral side, even into your business, like what have you been up to since the pandemic? Because it's been crazy, and I know it's been chaotic.
Um, so, really for ever since the pandemic, my focus is just to be steadfast and unmovable, just abounding in the work that the Lord has given me. Pandemic doesn't stop ministry. Pandemic doesn't stop kingdom. Yeah,
Come on,
so I just kind of kept going. Now, don't get me wrong. The Bible says, "For He have us not to be ignorant." I practice my social distance. I keep my mask on, but we continue to have service. As a matter of fact, I think we only closed down one Sunday during the whole pandemic. Some decided they would stay home, and others said, Pastor, we follow you. But that first Sunday, when everything shut down, I took that week to fast and pray, to really talk to the Lord and say, God, what would you have for me to do? I never pastored in a pandemic. I don't know what to do, and I don't want to be wrong.
right,
And
right,
the Lord said, just stand still, just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll protect you. I'll give you the grace. I'll cover you. And He's done just that. He's done just that. It was very, very trying. It was very, very trying. And especially even with the business, being that I'm a smaller business and not being able um, uh, to I guess you can say compete with the bigger businesses, because at a time of COVID, it's like quick, 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 hurry, hurry, hurry. Nobody was really going through the yellow pages looking for the best deal or the best business. You go to what you
right,
know. You
right,
go to that household name. So, being that I'm only 4 years old, there was a lot of people, they didn't think about the 4228 South Lancaster Road. It just didn't dawn on them until after
right.
the fact. So, but the Lord has sustained us. Um, Apostle, you're gonna kill me. But I need to grab this charger real quick. I
Go
didn't know
ahead,
this
man.
hadn't been charged. Yeah, but
Go
I can
ahead. Go
hear you
ahead.
most definitely.
All right.
But yeah, but just we've just stayed steadfast and just kept seeking the Lord and kept praising God and just kept moving forward and let Him do the work, do the rest for the most part.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Bam, let there be power.
All right. We're good to
All
go.
right. Yes, sir.
All right. So tell us how did you even get into the business of afterlife care? I mean, how did you branch into that?
So, this is a very little known story that a lot of people don't know. I'm originally from Dallas, as we said.
Mhm.
My mom went through a bad marriage and everything. We moved, and in the middle of the night, she jumped up. We moved to California in the middle of the night, and that was back in the 80s. And that big earthquake hit, and my mom was like, "Oh no, California's not for us." So we wound up going to Arkansas. I got to Arkansas, change of environment, change of pace from Dallas to Texarkana. Like, oh Jesus. So I really got to acting out and acting up.
Yeah.
And I wound up getting into trouble. Myself and this Caucasian fellow, we got into it. And back then it was when you had those homeboys who was your ride or die. When you fought, we all fought, win or lose. It didn't matter. We was all jumping in it. So me and this Caucasian guy got into it. All my homeboys jumped in it. So wound up being 6 black guys jumped on this one white guy in
Oh
Texarkana,
wow.
Arkansas. Yeah, in Texarkana, Arkansas. So of course that was a big, big blow up. It was a big mess. Oh, it
Absolutely.
was it was terrible. So it became racial profiling and gang related. We were a gang. The
Oh
6 of us, we
wow.
were a gang now. So and it was just a big mess. So I've always been a leader. I've always tried to walk to a cadence of accountability and be accountable for my needs. So long story short, I took the blame for everything and everybody. So I wound up getting expelled from school and got put on probation. The guy's mom pressed charges on me, so forth and so forth. Well, my probation officer wound up seeing God in me, and he
Wow.
says, young man, instead of locking you up the entire time that you're expelled from school, I'm going to make you volunteer at the funeral home. And at that
Wow.
time, it was Jones Funeral Home in Texarkana, Texas. And I volunteered all summer long at Jones Funeral Home. And I wasn't doing anything that first summer. I was just really, he had me mowing the yard and moving caskets around, cleaning caskets, washing the cars, that type of stuff. But that experience really, really changed my life. And I used to think that I was big and bad, and I just had a real bad attitude and everything. Thank God for deliverance and thank God for maturity and growing up. But that summer, I realized that there's somebody always bigger and badder than you, and his
Come
name
on.
is Death. His name
Yeah.
is Death, and Death don't care how bad you are. Death don't care how old you are, what color you are, what size you are. When Death wants you, it will get you. And
Yeah.
and so working there at the funeral home, it made me understand that, and I got to see it hands on, and it changed my life. And to this day, my probation officer, he and his wife, they're my godparents. I still send them birthday gifts because when I say it really, really changed my life. I've been in the industry for 19 years total, off and on, and it just really, really changed my life to go through that. So I really appreciate him, and I appreciate God for what I feel like giving me another chance. That was a chance for me to like really, really kind of grab myself and grab my thoughts and decide what it is that I'm going to do with my life at an early age. I was like 16 years old. And I've been doing it ever since, off and on, and I just find joy and I find pleasure in this. But that's how I wind up getting into that. Long story later.
Wow. Right. You said long story late. I like that. So I know you are a man of faith and most definitely preach it. At any time, were you concerned or apprehensive taking on bodies having expired due to COVID-19? Because
uh,
they were saying in the very, and I don't know how true this is, but of course they were saying in the video because they didn't know how it transferred. If the person, even after you pass, does it still carry? I mean, there was no, it was all new. So
yep. Uh, However, it was a little nerve-wracking and a little nervous, but at the same time, as a professional, if we govern ourselves like we're supposed to, we have something in the industry called universal precautions.
Okay.
Yes, COVID. This is the first time we've dealt with COVID, but there's still tuberculosis, there's hepatitis, there's other airborne viruses, and if
True.
you cover yourself with your personal protection equipment, and use universal precautions, it's just as any other case. And so, and
Right.
universal precaution says that we treat everyone as if they're infectious, regardless if it's your mom, your mother, or your grandmother. You treat every person that comes through here as if they're infectious, and then that way it goes and keeps yourself.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Um, were there any restrictions or procedure changes statewide or nationwide for handling bodies due to COVID-19?
Yes, there were some other implications that they implemented for us, to just cause extra precaution, just just more disinfectant procedures, to
Gotcha.
go the extra mile. You know, your different disinfectant agents that we were using to just to go the extra mile. Those were the most things that they kind of incorporated. And of course, you know, at first it was so new. It was just cremate everybody. You know, no
Right.
services, no nothing, go straight to
Right.
the crematory because we don't understand and we don't know. Of course, that became very stressful for the African American industry because we're not a culture that's totally accustomed to cremations. And
Exactly.
to say that I got to go straight to the crematory and I can't grieve over my loved one, I can't go through our normal ritual and our normal tradition. Yeah, it was stressful for everybody, funeral professionals, the family, the friends, to say you guys can't hug each other, you got to stay apart, you know. And it was a very, very trying time for everybody. You know, they're grieving and then having to couture to these restrictions and regulations and stuff, and you know, kind of feeling infringed upon the way that I'm able to grieve because of these restrictions. So it was a trying time for everyone.
Wow. 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 Um, are you, and this kind of brings us into the next part here. Are you seeing more and more people dying without proper burial needs currently? And the reason why I ask this question is because no one, much just like life, even in general, I should say, you know, no one knows how you're going to get up out of here. You don't know when, of course, don't know, you know, whatever the case may be. Um, but it's one of those things where, and then of course you don't anticipate, we never as a people, we never anticipated something like this ever happening.
Mhm.
And so you have a slew of people getting out here, like literally like at one time, you know. And so I know it could probably be, it could probably be kind of crazy or chaotic, especially if they didn't have, you know, pre-needs or, you know, or burial needs already in place, which should have been something even before pandemic even hit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Are you seeing more and more people getting out of here, definitely without any type of pre-needs or anything put in place?
Um, there are more and more people surfacing, most definitely without pre-needs. I've come to find out that pretty much the generation 40 and under has no
Uh-huh.
idea what a pre-need is. If you say the word
Wow.
pre-need, they have no idea what it is. Uh, and I blame the professionals because that means that we haven't done our job in educating. And something else that with pre-need is that most people I've come to find out, especially in the African American community, don't have a pre-need because we've been doing it backwards, where it's almost cheaper to pay for a funeral at need versus to pay for it pre-planned, which it ought to
Right.
be. I get it less expensive if I pre-plan it versus passing and not having anything. You ought to pay a la carte and everything is what it is, because it's
Right.
one of those things that you have to pre-plan for. So our funeral home here at Prepared Place, we're really stressing pre-need. Let's pre-plan. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. And one thing in the African American community, there's not many of us that want to have that conversation. Let's just be honest.
That's
Nobody
true.
wants to talk about dying. Nobody wants to talk about picking out a casket or what color, what's your favorite color, or what song you want sang at your funeral. But it goes right back to what I said. We can't live without dying. It's a part of it.
Right.
And so it's just that's one of those things that have to be taught, which is why why we're seeing more and more people without burial insurance. The other mishap is that people don't understand that funeral service goes up anywhere about $1,500 $2,000 a year. So
Whoa.
absolutely every year. So people say, "Oh, I got life insurance," but if you don't have a $100,000 or $200,000 life insurance policy, you only have $10,000, and you live 80 years, and it keeps going up every year. You've depleted your insurance, and your family is still going to have to come out of their pocket, which is why you need life insurance and a pre-need. I normally say that life insurance is for the living, and burial
Mhm.
insurance or pre-need is for the dead.
Right.
Because your life insurance should go to substantiate your spouse or your children or those that you're leaving behind to pay your bills to because they're gonna be losing an income which you lost.
Right.
So that ought to be
Right.
money that they should have to pay toward your funeral, but that's money for them to live off of a couple of months or however long until they can figure out, what their next move will be.
Right. You see on movies, Lifetime movies or just in general, just on TV, how you have one spouse that passes and then the other spouse, they struggle. I mean, because after they've paid for the funeral, after they've, uh, pay up bills and pay up things, house notes and everything, and all of a sudden, months later, they're losing their house or these things are happening. And of course, you can tell this as a result of not having proper either insurance and or something in place to take care of all that in case it happens. But the thing is, like you just said earlier, it's gonna happen. It's going to happen. We can't escape it. There's no way to escape it. I don't think there's no more Enochs and Methuselahs, living any longer. But it's going to happen. And so so I see that how there could definitely be an importance or a definite need for pre-needs. Absolutely. Um, Let me see here. Got another shout out there.
Hey, what's going on, Pastor Galloway? God bless you, Bishop, Apostle. Bless you, sir. Something else I will say, I went there and I said that most people don't know what pre-need is, but I didn't even tell them what it is.
Right.
So, so pre-need is basically, in layman's terms, a funeral on layaway.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just paying it off a little bit at a time. It's on layaway. Um, and so what it does is when you pick out a funeral, you pick out a funeral package and you start making monthly payments on it. I've seen pre-needs you can pay up to 30 years on a pre-need, as low as $30 $40 a month, and you just pay it out. But the good thing about getting it is that it locks it in at today's cost, so it never rises on you. If you get a
Mm.
$5,000 package, $5,000 will still be the same $5,000 20 years from now. Of course, we probably won't have the same stuff, but we'll give you something comparable to what you picked out in today's time. So
Gotcha.
it's very, very important to have that pre-need and to make sure that you're covered. I oftentimes say it's better to be prepared and not needed than to need it and not be
Absolutely.
prepared.
Absolutely. Dr. Jeremiah, real quick, those that are viewing, if you have any questions, we're going to definitely, I'm going to ask you, and I know you guys are going to get this probably 15 seconds after I'm saying it, but just to show you how broadcasting works, it's not, I mean, it's live, but it's a delay. Trust me, you guys. But if you have any questions for Dr. Martin in reference to pre-needs and just or any type of question in general, definitely shoot those through and I'll flash them and I'm sure he will definitely address them. All right. So we got one person. Let's see who's this. Bertha Lee, this is great information and so needed. Absolutely, absolutely. So as you guys
Hey,
see,
Sister Bertha, how you doing?
so I'm flashing your comments. I'm flashing what you're saying. So if you have a question, definitely, shoot it through. Dr. Martin, man, you clean, man.
Thank you, sir. Man, it's a work day. I've had school board stuff and then back at work. And yeah, it's just been a busy, busy day.
Man, that's what's up. And then, oh yeah, that's the other thing. Thank you for reminding me. The school board. You serve there on the board now. Was it for DeSoto, correct? Is it for DeSoto or
Cedar Hill, Cedar
Cedar
Hill, I
Hill? That's
believe.
right, Cedar Hill.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should know because that's where I actually came from before I got married. I came from Cedar Hill. But yeah, that's what's up, man. How you liking it thus far?
I'm actually loving it. I just can't wait for for COVID to dissipate because it's very
Got it.
hard to be interactive. This is a community type position. I'm an activist for the community on behalf of the community, our school district, all that stuff. So it's really hard to interact and really get a feel for people and be hands on over everything doing virtual. So we're just kind of waiting for the demise of COVID so we can really get into our communities and really link back together.
Absolutely. You got a question here, and this is actually from my aunt. She says, "Are pre-needs transferable?"
Yes, absolutely. Pre-needs are transferable. Any funeral home that accepts pre-needs can transfer a pre-need. One tidbit of information that people don't know is that pre-needs is all of your money should go into a trust. Like if you're paying for a pre-need and you're paying directly to a funeral home, that's not the proper way to do it. You should be going through a company. And it used to be years ago where the funeral homes had their own pre-need departments and all those things. But however, if a funeral home closed down and they had your money where and that you paid for a funeral, how would you be reimbursed, or how would that happen if that owner died or the funeral home went out of business? So the Department of Banking came in and regulated and said now all the money has to go into a trust. So being that money goes into a trust, yes, it is transferable because that funeral home, once they put in the proper paperwork, they'll have access to the payments that you paid previously out of that trust.
Uh-huh. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Aunt Michelle. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in as well. Let's see. Judah Galloway says, and having a pre-need is an awesome way that no one has to rely on social services. LOL. Absolutely.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. When you have a pre-need, you don't have to you don't have to ask for donations. You don't have to do a Damascus call. It's done. It's done. And every pastor that pastors a church, if your church doesn't have you in some kind of insurance, they should at least have you in a pre-need so that you can have a decent service and a homegoing that would be sufficient for you. When it comes to that, I kind of blame the pastor as well as the sheep, because between the two of them, they ought to have some kind of plan to make it happen.
Absolutely. From Brother Greg Norton. God bless you, Brother Greg. Thanks for tuning in, man. He says he missed some of the information. He says, are you seeing more people leaning toward cremation than a burial plot? And then how do you both feel about cremation?
Um, yes, there are more people that are using cremation. Cremation is more economical that we're so finding out. However, the business of it is that when we find out how economical a cremation is, the industry, because we don't want to lose money and we have to keep our doors open, there'll be a way that cremations are going to be expensive, because you can pay $10,000 for a cremation just like you can for a funeral. you know.
Hmm.
So it just depends. Uh, for me personally, spiritually, I don't want to be cremated just in case if I die and go to hell, I don't want to burn twice. Uh,
You ain't got no sense, boy.
uh, but professionally, I would say I'm just kind of neutral as a funeral professional. It's my job to bury, because once like I said earlier, it's art. If we go straight to the crematory, I can't express my art. You can't see my art. So as a funeral professional, I would say yes. I'm more focused toward burial. I love to put people back together again and make them look better in their afterlife than they possibly did in their everyday life. I most definitely. So yeah, I just personally don't want to be cremated. Yeah, I want to be buried in my church like Charles Harrison Mason.
Come on. Man, look, and me, Brother Greg, I'm kind of the same on that. I do not want to be cremated. If that's the last resort, then I mean, it is what it is. But I do not. As far as I just would rather. I would rather just be buried. I'm kind of like my look. Let me tell you something, Dr. Martin. My big mama from Shreveport, Emma Maiden. She said she had always my mom and my mom Linda Rambo, my mom Tammy Jordan, Linda Rambo, and Sandra Blake. My aunt Sandra Blake. They would always go yearly, to together to visit my big mama, and they were kind of in charge of her, of her arrangements and helping her, get all that stuff together and everything and everything. And so she told them, she said, "Look here," she said, because in Shreveport or in Louisiana, they really love to put the what is it on the top, it's some type of top that they normally put on top,
the vault.
Yeah, the vault. So she told my mom, she said, "Now look here, I don't want no vault on top of my grave, because when Gabriel blow his horn, I want to be able to get out."
Yeah, because
So but yeah, that was her thing. But yeah, cremation, I don't think that's gonna be for me. I mean, not like I have much say so unless I pre-need, unless I pre-plan it. Right.
And which is what I was going to say. When there are people that come in prepared place who have not prepared and they just don't have the money, most definitely we stress and press them to go the economical way, which is cremation, because I feel like people shouldn't have to grieve and have the burden of a debt on their shoulder as well. Or I can't get my loved one buried for the next month because it's going to take us a month to raise $13,000.
Right.
So I always try to, as a professional, I think it's good to people are coming to you because they trust your professionalism. If
Right.
you
Right.
go
Right.
if you go to BMW to buy a BMW, I don't want to talk to the salesman that's trying to sell me a Toyota. You
Come
know,
on.
uh, so yeah.
All
I
right.
see I see a comment from Lydia.
Yeah, I'm basically drop down there in just a second. You guys, also those that are viewing, if you're just tuning in, the floor is, if you got any questions or anything you want to definitely add to this topic on tonight. Again, we're talking about COVID-19 restrictions, and we're also talking about pre-needs. But if you just want to ask Dr. Martin some questions about this type of stuff, then shoot. And so definitely and I'll flash it and he'll definitely address it. Before I get to Lydia's comment, my Aunt Michelle, she said that did answer my question. I didn't know about the trust. And so she's saying thanks in that aspect.
Absolutely, Miss Michelle. Appreciate it.
And then now from Lydia, saying, "Awesome funeral director. I love his spirit and character. Integrity matters, especially when it comes to dealing with families and the community." Absolutely.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Our motto here at Prepared Place Funeral Home is where we care with love and precision. I feel like at a time like that, that's a time for you to be loved. And then whoever you're dealing with have to be precise in the decisions that are made, in the precision as it comes to the look of your loved one. Every detail needs to be like just perfect, in my opinion. And I've been there several times. My sister passed. She was killed in a motorcycle accident in 2014. We just buried my grandmother from heart conditions in May of last year. So I've been there very, very closely, and I understand how it makes you feel. And so one
Absolutely.
thing is I stress that I believe that that the consumer ought to be in control when they come in here. There's a level of control that they can have when it comes to the money they're spending and what's going to make their celebration what they feel it ought to be. So thank you so much, Miss Lydia. I appreciate your comment. I strive to be an integral individual and it's a man of my word as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Then you got another one from Judah saying, "My goal is to be laid in a Promethean casket and sealed away in a mausoleum. Praise Jesus."
We're not talking to the prophet. I don't know who got his pre-need. I don't have it, so I'm not sitting in with his. Now that's a very, very nice casket though. If you guys hadn't seen it, you should go and Google it and look at it. It's very, very nice.
Wow. So I guess while we're waiting on more questions to come in, if some more come in, okay. So you were the first person that I saw in Dallas, and if there was any others, I haven't seen any. But you were like the first person that I saw that did a funeral back a couple of years ago, um, where you actually posed an individual for viewing, and then of course, and I remember you telling me that, and then afterwards, you of course you would lay them to rest for the actual funeral, lay them. But that it didn't freak me out. A lot of people was against it, and that's just so immoral, and I'm like, really? So let's talk about that, because I know you had got a lot of flack in reference to that, and even the
Okay.
ones you've done.
So, I've been interested in death for a long time. Even as a kid, before I even had the funeral home experience working there because of my trouble, I would like to take animals and dissect them and all of those type things and see how they work and all of that. Um, yeah, and so I've always kind of been fascinated with it. Well, I've done studying, and then when I went to school for it, we learned that it's custom. Like there was some different customs and religions that would set their loved ones up as a
Mhm.
sign of respect, as a sign of honor, and set them up and pose them in a manner. Or sometimes they didn't set them up; they would take them home and lay them across the bed, like they would typically lay, and they would pose them like that. So it's nothing new. Even the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. So I'm not the first one to do it. I'm just the only one crazy enough, I guess, to do it here in Dallas. Well, ever since I started reading and knowing that they could do that, that was done, I was like, man, I want to do that. I want to do it. And it's just been my spirit. And the first person that I did it with was Papa P,
Yeah.
Quentin Nelson. Yeah, Quentin Nelson. And he was the first one that I did with Papa P, and he was dressed in all red, and red was his favorite color and everything. And he was an artist and an entrepreneur, and he just did his own thing. And so I actually, uh, they were saying that as his family was having arrangements, they were talking about him and talking about what he'd said. And he said, he had a conversation with them and said, man, when I go out, I want to go out sitting up like a king, bro. Every time I go out, I got a show out. And so as I'm like, oh, this is the family. This is the one. All right, Lord. Yes, this is it. And so I talked to him about it. And of course, even some of the family members were against it, but the people who were actually the decision maker were all for it because they said that's what he would have wanted.
Right.
So there was of course, this was my first one, and it was a last minute thing, and I had to figure out how to get this done in less than 24 hours. So because the idea came to me, like it came to me in the beginning, but I was scared to even say anything about it. But he just kept tugging on me, and I was like, I'm gonna just ask because the only thing they can say is no. And they was like, you can do that? Oh, if we had known you could have done that. We would have said that from the beginning. And so it kind of goes back to making sure if you're a business owner to offer everything that you do. Not trying
Right.
to
Right.
upsell anybody, but make it known that this is what we offer. We can do this because you never know what people want. And so I did it, and one of the major mistakes was that brought a lot of flack was is that I took the body to the church and I set him up on the platform of the church.
Mhm.
But in my mind, I was renting a building that could seat enough people to see, for his life celebration. The life
Mhm.
celebrations happens at a wake, and then we have a traditional service on the funeral day because you have to be buried in a casket in the state of Texas, so forth and so forth.
Right. Right.
So the night before for the wake, we do life celebration sitting up in the chair. I took him to the church. Worst thing I could have ever done. Oh Lord, like it was terrible. Oh, it was terrible. I was crucified for sitting a dead man up in the
You were.
pulpit. But I'm like, it's not a pulpit. I've taken the chairs away. I've taken the podium away. It is now a platform. It's a stage.
Right.
That's it. Just happens to be in the church. If it was anywhere, I mean, what makes it the pulpit? The podium and the chair and the preacher sitting up there. So that was my first thing. And my second thing was here it is. We are complaining and fussing about a dead man who's sitting on a platform when we have living dead preachers sit in the pulpit every week. But there's no controversy about that. there's nobody blasting that on social media, but because
Ooh,
I just think our priorities are messed up as Christians. Like, yeah, we worried about a dead man. What he gonna do? Well, we got living dead men that's preaching over your soul every week, sitting in that very same pulpit, looking under
come
your
on,
skirt,
man.
taking your offering, yeah, doing all kind of stuff. But we made a big controversy about someone who was deceased. Like, why? And of course, I took a lot of flack behind it, but of course, I can't do anything as a professional that the family don't allow me to do. They wanted that. That's something that they agreed to. They
Right.
signed documentation. They paid for it. And then lastly, what hurt my heart was though that people were so very disrespectful on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
live feed. They were saying everything and just all kinds of stuff, and it was so very disrespectful to the point it's like we forgot that this is somebody's daddy, this is somebody's brother, somebody's son, somebody's nephew. Yeah, so and we have to be respectful. But so often people forget that. But we've done. Let me see. I've been open 4 years. I do at least one a year. So for the last 3 years, we've done one. There was another one that I done. Mr. Willie Hall. He was a quartet singer around here. Man, he was dressed to the gods. He had on this shiny, sparkly silver suit, sitting up in a white throne chair. Yeah, he was bad. He was sitting up there and
I think I
posed
want to
to
say
his own music.
I want to say I saw that one too, but then I also saw one I think that you did. It was someone that was in the military.
Yep, yep. That was my
Yeah.
second one, Mr. Sparks. Yeah, he was in the military. We gave him a whole military theme and all that, and I love it. I wish I had
That
had
was nice.
Aretha's. I wish I'd have had Aretha's body. If I had Aretha's body, she would have done
Oh yeah.
more than crossed her
He would have
legs
been
and changed
right. He
clothes.
would
She
have
would have
been
been sitting up there with a mink over her arm. RESPECT would have been playing, and she would have been pointing like, "Give him something to come see."
Come on, man.
Yeah. So,
Oh yeah, he can definitely reach, teach, and preach. Yes, indeed.
so
Man. But yeah, I do remember that, and there was some people that, and I'm one of those people, like that's why I hate being friends with folks, because see, I'm a type of friend that if I know somebody and you mouthing and you bumping, that yeah, that don't set well with me. So so that's my thing, and I but I remember, and that's why I think I remember hitting you up, or either when I came over to visit you over at your business. I had I was like, man, look, do your thing, do you, because at the end of the day, nobody else was doing it, and that's something to kind of open up our eyes to look. This can actually be done. Again, like you said, other cultures, they do it. We just don't do it. You know,
mhm.
and so I thought that was awesome, man. Great work. Absolutely, absolutely.
can
Yes, sir.
can I
All
can
right,
I
you got
switch?
any more questions before we get out, before we let Dr. Martin go, you guys? And I know that y'all going to get that in a delay in about 20 seconds or so. So then I got to wait another 20 seconds before you actually hit with questions. But other than that, man, well, I'm about to say, have it kind of slowed down a little bit with the deaths of COVID, but no, I know it hadn't. It's
And it's not even so much the death of the COVID. The Bible says it's appointed that man should die.
true. That's true.
Yeah, they gonna die like one way or the other. And I guess we just got to get that in our minds that it's appointed that we all should die. And
Right.
so instead of us trying to prolong it, why not prepare for it naturally
Right.
and spiritually? Because it's the
Absolutely.
inevitable. It's coming most definitely. And so yeah, it's coming. It's coming. So we just got to be ready for it and prepare for it, and make sure that we got our ducks in a row and our house in order. Most definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm still trying to give more time in case anybody slide anything else in. I always tell people the thing is, COVID, like you just said, COVID is COVID. It is what it is. But the thing is, there's people still dying of cancer. There's people that still dying of AIDS. There's people still dying of, just of different things. And just COVID is nothing but I added. Of course, it seems to have taken, several lives, many lives with it. But the thing is, we're not promised no certain way to get out of here. And whatever vehicle God chooses to use to get us out of here, I mean, it is what it is, And I mean, so I don't know, man. I'm praying that we're definitely on the other side of all of this. and everything, and not ready to see what else God is about to do. I definitely know that His glory. I'm waiting for this. One thing that the Lord has spoke to me in all of this was that His glory, that there was going to be a mantle. I mean, just a heavy presence of His glory that's going to hit earth, and man, I'm ready for that to hit. Ready for that
Yes,
to hit.
sir. Yes,
I mean, I'm
sir.
sure it's already in the making, but I'm just saying I'm ready for that to, ready
Absolutely.
for it. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me see what we got here. What led you to become a funeral director?
She missed my
Right, she missed
testimony,
that
Miss
part.
Lydia. She missed my testimony. Miss Lydia,
Okay.
you're gonna have to go back and watch it. But in short, in short, I was a bad kid and wound up getting into some trouble, and my probation officer made me go and work at the funeral home, and it just changed my life from there. That's the short version of it.
And
Thank you for asking.
it's crazy how you getting in trouble. It's crazy how just now, this is just life in general, how certain things lead to other things, to our destiny and our purpose in life. And that's really what life is all about. That's why I say we have to learn how. That's why we got to be quick to forgive. We got to be quick to uh I guess definitely, well, I'm just gonna say quick to forgive, because sometimes certain things happen in our life that will cause us to hold on to stuff, and we didn't realize that God was really using that situation to push us into another area. And that's just with things in general, different things that we go through. We don't know why God allowed it, but you'll find out later that it pushes you on into your destiny, into your purpose.
Right.
And in your case, that situation landed you right where you are.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. It's a
Which
good
goes to the scriptures, and we know.
Uh-oh. Think we lost him there. Oh, there we go. There you go. All right. I'll let you get set up and then I'll bring it back on here.
I was
There
already
you
looking
go.
for this other device. I knew that
Uh-oh.
wasn't gonna charge fast enough. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but right back to the word of God, it says, and we know that all things work together for the good of them who are called according to His purpose. So, most definitely,
Absolutely.
life period, it was just working together for my good. Most definitely.
Absolutely. 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 All right, Dr. Martin. Nobody else has really hit us back, so there's nothing really else to address. I definitely want to thank you for definitely taking time out of your schedule. I know you've been kind of running today. I mean, you can't help but run in your business. And so I definitely appreciate you for taking a moment out to kind of talk to us, let us know on that side of things. I have to get you on here with something else, because I know you're. I got to get you on here with something else, and I think I kind of know what I'm going to get you on here for. But we'll talk about it, and definitely get you on here on something else. That way you can. And this is your entrepreneurial side. This is the business owner side. But we got to get you on it, because look,
Look,
I know I got to get you on here on another level, here. And but man, look,
my son on here, he said I'm ready to preach. I'm always ready to preach. Like,
yeah, I know. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, indeed. And we got one more comment from Lydia. She says, "But God used your trouble to bring a blessing out of a lesson of disobedience." Absolutely, absolutely. Yes,
absolutely,
indeed.
yeah, that's good.
I
Most
know that.
definitely, I
Look,
agree.
look, I'm gonna go scribble that down. That'll preach right there. That'll preach right there.
Let me screenshot that right there. Let me
Right,
screenshot
right.
that.
Next Sunday's
Oh
lesson gonna be.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, absolutely, man. But look, yeah, thank you so much for definitely coming on. Like I say, I'm gonna get you on here another time, because it's probably another something I want to deal with. And because what I normally do when I bring people on, especially the first time, I really like to talk to people kind of about their niche, whatever. Because everybody has a niche. Like mine is, Lord, what is mine? Mine is like healing, deliverance, in that arena.
Everything.
Yeah, well, now I ain't gonna say everything, but that's kind of like my niche, spiritual warfare. But then, yours may be prophetic, yours may be, so whatever. So don't say it yet, because I want to bring you back on because you may have a specific niche that you want to discuss on here. So we'll definitely get together again to discuss that.
Sure
All
thing.
right.
Sure thing. I would
All
say,
right.
man, thank you so much for having me on your platform, and thank your viewers that have interacted with us and listened to us. And I hope that the information was helpful to you and that you'll utilize it. And as well, that you'll call me at Prepared Place Funeral Home. We're located at 4228 South Lancaster Road, Dallas, Texas, 75216. The phone number here is 469-802-9422. That's 469-802-9422. And as well, you can visit us on the web at preparedplacefuneralhome.com. So please go and hit us up. If you're interested in pre-need, on our website, there is a link that says pre-plan. If you click on the tab that says pre-plan, you can put your information in there, and then a family advocate will get in touch with you to further the process to help out with pre-needs and information concerning pre-need.
Praise the Lord. All right, you guys, if you need that information, you definitely can rewind and go back and grab that information. I wished I didn't think about it, but I wished I had because you just did a commercial, man. That commercial was bad. I called you to mess with you about it, but I knew you were real busy when I called. You would have been dying laughing. But no, I wish I would have ran that. would have been able to run that video as well. But like I say, I'm gonna get you on here again. And we'll run some things, video and different things else within the interview. But man, look, thank you so much. And again, appreciate you. And without further ado, believers, another hot topic, another great topic. We had some good questions, and I'm sure you guys got some great info. And so now at this point, we're gonna go ahead and let Dr. Martin go so he can at least finish his day out, y'all. He's still at work there in his office, and I'm sure he's ready to go home and chill. I would be. So we're gonna let him off of here. You guys, God bless you, and I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Be blessed.